Well, good evening, one and all out there in YouTube and Facebook land. Welcome to this.
Howdy doody.
Why do you do that? It's so scary. I mean, it's not Halloween anymore, mate. Welcome to the 24th of these crazy Q&A type things that we've started doing.
Number 24, is that what it is?
Number 24. Who knew? Who knew we'd last this long?
Is that 24 weeks? God,
24 weeks,
and
and we have our first actual viewer.
What?
I can't tell who it is. It's someone has actually signed in. I can't tell who it is. Whoever you are, let us know who you are in the comments. And if you've come from Facebook or YouTube, it's always interesting.
It's every week. What happens is it's a slow start.
Yep.
And then we get to like 8:55, and then all the questions start coming in.
Boom. Right. So I'm guessing that your mum, my mum, and probably your son have just logged in, because we've got 4 whole people on the live stream now, which is great. Welcome one, welcome all. It's just Paul and I this evening, because we thought we'd try and rattle through some of your questions. Not that we have any yet, but I thought we would start things off. You've got a thing you were going to say.
I have. I mean, there's loads of questions that have come in on the Facebook channel.
Okay.
Over the last couple of days, actually, that I haven't got around to answering. So I'm normally trying to answer all the questions, but
because you're diligent like that.
Well, I think it's good for traffic, isn't it? It's good for
yes, and we've already had a thumbs up, so thank you from Facebook land. So I lit a bit of a fire this morning.
You did.
Under my, I have to be. It was done on my personal Facebook page, but I guess most people know who we are and know how to find us on our social media channels, as well as the Studio Rats.
Mm-hmm.
I had a delivery this morning. £7 2 ounces. No,
wow.
The nice man from UPS brought me one of these.
Look at that.
That is the Steve Vai signature Synergy model.
James loves a bit of proggy stuff.
I do love a bit of prog. I love a bit of metal. I love a bit of widdly. And mainly from my my Bill and Ted loving days, but I thought it's all very well having like access to some of these classic amp tones.
Yep.
But I wanted something a bit more super high gain. But also, this does a really, really good clean sound as well.
Does it? I mean, what is because a really good clean sound is something very different for you than it is for me, isn't it?
Yes, I would call, in my world, a really good clean sound is super clean.
Right.
No breakup, no nothing.
Yeah.
But I've got that in other modules and in other amps. I've got that kind of broken uppy, warm. I'm going to go as far as to call it a crunchy sound.
Controversial.
Yeah, controversial, but hey, it's only just gone 8 o'clock, so I can say. But this is super clean, and if you want that kind of real 80s glassy Fender Twin zing, or I believe the clean channel is based on a Fender Bassman actually, rather than a Fender Twin.
Yeah, which to me is a little bit dirtier than a Twin, but yeah, but go on.
But it sounds great. It sounds really good, even with a Les Paul, which is quite a high output, pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, depending on the pickups you've got in it, but my one has quite a high output, and it sounds really nice. I would say, I mean, you can see where I have the gain for the loud channel, the high gain channel.
So you're not even a quarter of the way up. You're literally just like a third of the way up.
I could probably push it to about 12 o'clock. The other thing I like about this module so far is that the pots are, you can't hear, of course, but no, of course you can't.
No, you can't
are dented, whatever the word is.
Nice.
Notched, I always refer to them, but there is a proper word, isn't there?
So are you going to plug it in and show us how it sounds?
Well, I thought I'd show you how cool and how easy it is to change these things. At the moment,
Norm's in.
Gnorm is in the house. So I have my trusty Les Paul to hand,
right,
and I'm going to sort of try and edge my way into a position. So at the moment, I've got the Bogner Ecstasy module in at the moment on the blue channel, and it's fairly well wound up. So
that's on the blue. Put it on red.
The red channel is super hang on. What we?
2-bit game.
That will sustain till about this time next week.
Awesome. Okay. So unplug it and plug the Vi module in. Let's have a look at this.
Now, this is what's cool about the whole Synergy system. I have to be careful because I am plugged in behind me because I've sort of moved laptops and things so I can show you this. So first of all, I'm going to switch it off because I don't want to blow myself up or blow up anything else.
But you know the hot swappable.
They are hot swappable, but I don't want to do that because they've got valves in them and I don't need them to be that hot. But this is the cool thing. Ready? So there's the Bogner module. Out it pops.
Safe is in the house. There's
the Bogner module with two 12AX7 valves in it. Don't touch the top bit.
They do get hot, don't they?
They do get very hot. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to slide in the Vi module. I'm going to slide it in. I'm going to turn it on, and then I'm going to turn on the big loud play button, and that's the clean channel first. So we've got. That's about 8 o'clock.
That's the clean channel, did you say?
No, that's the dirty channel.
Oh, right, I was going to say. Okay, that's about 8 o'clock. Go on, give it a crank. Come on.
Right, so there's midday.
Right, that'll do. Yeah, gives a bit of midday. This will stop eventually.
But if you want to do...
Oh,
yeah, close.
The harmonic minor version.
Yes. I think it sounds absolutely killer. I think that sounds really cool.
One. Nice one. It's such a shame. I mean, I bet in the room the differences of the 2 amps sound very strident, but it's such a shame because over YouTube and
the compression.
What's
interesting? What's really interesting? I mean, the clean channel is really nice. That sort of
oh my god, the Les Paul sounds clean. Right. Wow.
It sounds super clean, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that kind of
super clean.
Now you can drive that up and give it some. Well, that's a bit too far. I've overcooked the what's it? But you got
overcooking what's it? All right.
There's a bit of grit in there.
Nice. It's such a shame. It's such a shame the full sounds are coming through, but
really, really cool module. So I mean, it wasn't the main when I was funny because we were talking about Synergy before you got that.
Yes.
And then we swapped, and I think I'm embracing Synergy more than you are.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, and so we've got some questions. Talkie online.
Hey,
Talkie in the house.
Happy talkie, happy talk.
Shocking. Yeah, for me, I really like the modules. I didn't think I was the only thing is I was using my other amps more than I was using that. So that's why you've got it now. And the clean, it's just a bit too clean for me.
I think where this sort of technology, I'm going to turn it off because I am.
It gets hot.
Where I think this scores is in the same way as microphone modeling technology.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have a Dumble, a Soldano, a JCM 800, Plexi, select your dream amp rig. I would also love to have a U67, a U47, a Telefunken 251, all these sort of classic vintage microphones where microphone modeling technology is so good now It's very difficult to tell. And when someone says, "Oh, I've A/B'd it with my one," they don't sound anything like it. Well, the truth is, vintage microphones, you could put two 67s next to each other, and they ain't going to sound the same.
It's the same. It's the same with everything, though. It's the same with, you know, if you own something, and someone says, and someone, you know, someone buys something for, you know, a quarter of the price, and then compares it, people go, "Oh, it sounds nothing like that," which is absolute rubbish. It's, you know,
but likewise, I think I compare it to guitar is not my first instrument, so for me, it's close enough. You know, it's close enough to say I've got a Dumble or I've got a Soldano or I've got a Bogner.
Yeah.
Whereas that in there is 7,000 quid with a real drum kit.
Sure.
That's where my real passion is. And it's like saying, well, you know, you could remake those sounds on a Roland TD50. No, it's not the same. And that's, I think, where we're at. So that's as good. That's good. That's probably 90% of the way there for me. Sure. With 3% of the outlay by comparison to a real Bogner.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or $4,000 for a Soldano SL000, or
no, they're not. No, Soldanos I think are 2.5. I think the new ones are 2.5 now.
Still a lot of money.
Yes, that's a lot of money. Yeah.
What I would be interested in is if they team it with Hiwatt to do one, because I think that'd be very interesting.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah,
because Hiwatt is still the amp that's on my shopping list.
We've got some questions through.
Go for it.
Right, we say hello to Arturo, Paul, Charlie, Norm, Clifton, David, Charlie Clifton. I think we've got everyone.
Excellent. Thanks
and
for joining
Sophie, obviously. Sophie. Right. Questions.
Yeah.
Hi guys. Can I ask a question about fret buzz, especially on the G string? I solved the problem by replacing the string with a wound G, but it's hard to bend. Yeah, you're never going to bend.
Yeah.
Especially on a G, because if you're going to bend it up.
Yeah.
You can bend it the other way on a wound string. It seems easier. But
so
bend up rolls, doesn't it?
Here's the thing about fret buzz. Fret buzz is due to I'm going to use a very strange word now, a bastardization in a guitar's tuning. Guitars are not a perfect instrument.
It's not. No.
The only guitars that have a perfect tuning.
That's intonation. You're not talking about fret buzz.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah. Fret in intonation, without doubt, the way that a guitar is designed it's never perfectly in tune. You're so right. But fret buzz is caused by fret. It's either caused by the nut being too low,
right,
or one fret being too high,
right,
or your neck bowed, so you need to straighten it with a truss rod, like I'd like to do to your jazz bass every time I play it, because it's like a proper bow. That is,
all my guitars at some point are going to my guy in Felixstowe to get the whole shebang done. I'm going to take them all to him in one go and say, Steve, make these beautiful again.
Awesome.
Right, here's my man.
I think, and I don't know if it was Arturo that was. There was a question about fret buzz, and someone saying that my guitar had fret buzz on the G string. And to be honest, I know I was shocked. To be honest, I was thinking about it today actually, because I was playing that same guitar and it hasn't got any fret buzz. So
which guitar? The Reverend?
No, it was the Sir Telly.
Right.
The Sir Alt T.
Sir Telly.
And I'll prove it, because the way you can tell about fret buzz.
Right.
I don't want to pull out my headphones. Hold on.
Oh, he's going off piste. Oh.
I'm back in. If you play it acoustically, you know, there's no fret buzz on the G string. So fret buzz is caused by frets being a fret being too high, or your neck not being straight,
or the nut being too deep,
or the nut being too low. So if you've got any problems, don't change your G to a G string, not unless you play jazz. Don't change your G to a wound string unless you play jazz. I would say just take it to a guitar luthier and just get it sorted.
Hmm.
It's quite a simple job. And if you're not comfortable filing down frets yourself, which to be honest, I'm not.
No, probably shouldn't be going in that territory.
Arturo, tell us what guitar it is. Tell us what make of guitar. I'm just going to put this back. Hold on.
Yep. He's gone off piste again. Paul, your room's. You can't hear me. Why am I even talking?
Better. Even better. If Arturo, I don't know where you're from, but if you've got a guitar luthier near you in your country that has a plec machine, take it to that guitar luthier, because the plec machine will sort it out. A plec machine.
What's a plec machine?
A plec machine is it's a machine the guitar goes in there, and it scans the whole of the neck, and it as opposed to it being done by the guitar being
done by eye.
Yeah, done by eye, or done by tools. It's done by computer, so it gets completely done. So guitars are done
laser.
Well, no, it's still filed down and stuff, but it's so guitars that come out like manufacturers that have plec machines are Sir Friedman has a plec machine. If you're in England and you're anywhere near Thames Ditton or Kingston, around that sort of area, Charlie Chandler's has got a plec machine. So some guitar shops do have plec machines, but they cost a fortune.
Wow.
So anyway, that's yeah. But let us know if we can help any more. Let us know what guitar it is. Actually, I'd be interested to know. Charlie says, thanks for the Katana and Boss Tone Studio vids. Pleasure. Norm says, I've watched all the Katana vids. That's why I bought one. Awesome. Tell Boss. So yeah.
Yeah, please tell Boss.
Clifton, hi Clifton, how you doing? David, hi David. Anyone using a Katana should try the brown setting with the variation on. Tube Screamer limiter, 13 milliseconds of delay. 13 milliseconds of delay. Wow, that's short. And crank it. It's the most metal amp I've ever owned. Oh, awesome. I'll try that. That's a good tip. Clifton says, greets from Portland. No rights today. Oh, mate.
Portland, Oregon.
Shocking what's going on.
No rights. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, shocking that what's been happening. Bruce says, difference is that drummers don't usually get 25 kits, but guitarists do get 25 guitars and amps. That's so true.
True, but often, I mean, I've only got, I'd say, as a guitarist, I've got 2 amps, actually 4 if you count the Katana and my Marshall JCM 900.
Yep.
But I do have about 8 snares. So
yeah, that's the same sort of thing, isn't it?
If you compare guitars and snares, and then cymbals, I've probably got 5, 6 ride cymbals, probably 12, 13 different crashes. It gets dangerous.
China should go in the bin.
I've got 3 of those. 3 bins.
Charlie says, smash that like button like it's your favorite snare. Yes, please smash that like button.
If you would, that would be lovely.
Yeah, like and subscribe, do all that sort of business. Cheers, guys. It's helps us out, and we're getting close to 10,000, which is a massive achievement for us. Do you know what my son said? My son said today, how many subscribers you got? Because he loves his Minecraft and stuff, and he watches Minecraft. And like these guys have got like 4 million like subscribers, and I said, count at 10,000. He's just like,
yeah. I was watching Linus Tech Tips because I've been having some PC issues, and I thought I'd go away and actually do some research rather than just go in and go and they've got 12.3 million subscribers.
How does that happen?
But it's a much more broad church. I mean, PCs, computers are a much more broad church than 2 guys nerding over audio kit.
It's so true. It is true. It is true. But so, some of these channels, some of the what's going on there?
What's going on?
So I've got something going on my screen. Verifying backup and sync from Google or something. I don't know what that is.
Nice.
Yeah, some of these nerdy music tech channels have a few, don't they?
Yes.
So just mentioned Clifton could be a poorly formed nut. Yep, very much so. Bridge saddle could also benefit in raising a quarter turn. Yeah, definitely. All of that sort of stuff. Everything's got to be lined up. I mean, frets are just everything's got to be so exact for it to have, for it to be perfect. Norm says fret buzz, nut slot, saddle heights, or truss rod, high frets. Yep, all of that. Saddle height, plec. Yep, thumbs up for a plec. a good luthier can get better results than a plec machine. I disagree with that.
I think we've all taken. So I know Joey, and I know where he's coming from because he has a guitar collection to die for. I think you go where you go. I mean, for example, you've been taking your guitars to Charlie Chandler, I suspect, for years. Mine have been going to my guy Steve at Guitar Lodge in Felixstowe for as long. That they all lead together right now. But I think you've got your guy you go to. When I say to Steve, I want it to fight back a little bit. I don't want it to be so easy to play. I haven't got to work at it.
Yeah,
and he kind of knows what I mean by that.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. But it's like it's a difference of something being exact.
Oh, it's a gnats. Yeah, it's a hairs from a gnats. Yes. Anyway,
great channel. Thanks, Buttface. Awesome. That's the name of the day. Hi from Cheltenham in the house. I'll email boss about how helpful your channel is. Oh, cheers, Charlie. Nice one.
That would be lovely.
Very good. Those guitars. Yeah, thank you. Yes, but guitarists will take 5 guitars to a gig. Drummers only take 1 kit. Yeah. Do you take and how many guitars? Well, you don't take guitars to gigs, but I used to take 3, and then I went down to 2.
I used to when I was gigging, but that was only because I'd then have an emergency. I'd have one to play. I wouldn't like saying, "Oh, this is a Les Paul song. This is a Strat song."
Yeah.
I used to have my Eggle, which was my gigging guitar, for 10 years, because it was nearly Strat, nearly Les Paul in one guitar. And I then had I had a kind of Epiphone 335, kind of Epiphone Sheraton, which was my other guitar. That was my backup. That was why I took 2.
Interesting.
So if I bust a string on a song, put one down, play the other one. Tone it wasn't about tone like it is for the top guys on tour when they've got 19 different guitars in different tunings and different tones and stuff. This was I think most of the time, and I say having done a lot of gigs in recent history, it was about practicality rather than tone and rather than musical stylings, I think.
Yeah. I think I mean, I don't think many people give a monkeys if Brown Eyed Girls played on a Strat or a Les Paul. Do you know what I mean?
No. Brown Eyed Girl.
Let's have a look. Drums on kit. Hi, how's it going? Do you record the? Okay. Hi. How's it going? How do you record the Katana Mark 200 in Studio One 5.1? Well, you've got a couple of different choices. You can either stick a mic in front of it. James brought round a Sontronics Delta 2 ribbon mic, which sounds amazing. That is the best guitar amp mic I've ever used.
Yes, it is.
So that's a great choice. Or you can, if you're using a Mac, you can go USB. And I say why if you're using a Mac, because basically, and James might be able to correct me on this, but if you're using a Mac, you can choose a different input and a different output. So, for instance, if you've got an interface like a Universal Audio Apollo, you can take the USB out of the Katana, plug it into your computer, and then choose that as the input inside of Studio One and play the output through the Universal Audio Apollo. Can you do that on a PC?
It depends on the DAW.
Oh, but you can actually do that on a PC. I thought it was
on a PC.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
That can be done. You can't do it in Pro Tools. Pro Tools won't let you have a different.
No, Pro Tools
you'd have to build a aggregate device, and that's just not worth the hassle.
Has that changed recently? Because when I did a video on that, and then all these PC people were saying you can't do this on a PC.
You can do aggregate devices on PC. It's an absolute what ache.
Oh no, yeah, but in Studio One, this is automatic. You can choose a different output and a different input, and same in Logic, you can choose.
No, it is DAW specific.
Okay,
it's not to do with that.
Awesome. Where did we get to? So yes, there's either that or what you can do is to take the line out at the back of the Katana and then plug that into your.
Stick a 57 in front of the speaker. That's going to give you a good, well recognizable guitar tone.
Yeah. Loads of drumsticks. Yes, they do. Yeah. But we have lots of Alan. We have lots of plectrums though. So
Yes.
Alan says, but they have loads of drumsticks. Fret bars also affected by neck radius when you bend. Yes, I guess so. If you've got a more vintage radius.
Yeah, something a bit more curvy.
Yes. More more drumsticks equals more better.
Yeah. Well,
butt face name of the day. Synergy. Can you use 2 modules simultaneously for a stereo recording without using a splitter?
Not in the Sin 30 amp, which I have up here. The Sin 50, I think, is a dual module thing, but you can't split them. It still only goes between the two. It's like a pedal switcher, isn't it?
It is, but they do a rack version.
Mm-hmm.
They do a rack version which hasn't got a power amp, which is just the preamps, and you might be able to with that.
I think you can actually. I was watching Steve Vai introduce his module the other day with "Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater." I've met Mitch, so I can do that.
Vai, yeah. He's a nice bloke.
Lovely man. And he was raving about the fact that the box, basically the module box, has lots of different options that you don't get on the amps and you don't get on the head and other stuff. So yeah, I think you can. There's a bit of investment there, but not as much as buying a fully blown vintage valve amp. So yeah.
My brother was a drummer. He used Buttface says, my brother was a drummer. He used to use drumsticks with metal rods in them and had to replace them regularly due to how hard he hit the drums. Jeez.
They are called head sticks, and they are actually, I think they're either carbon fiber or graphite. And the idea is it's a replaceable part of. It's like reusable drumsticks. You only replace the bit that gets trashed. You don't replace the whole stick.
But I bet they're more expensive than buying a pair of drumsticks.
Of course, they're more expensive. But they have a metal shaft down the middle. I think they feel really weird to play. But there are lots of metal guys who want really heavy sticks. But yeah, I think they're quite weird. It's not my thing.
Do you think is it the same with drums? Where if you hit it too hard, it sounds worse. Is there like an optimum velocity?
I believe that to be the case. Yes, there is a point where the head stops responding in a nice way.
Yeah,
it at that point it becomes the law of diminishing returns. The harder you hit it, the better. It doesn't sound better. Right. It just sounds more different, worse. In my world, it's worse, and it actually gets to a point where you dent the heads, and that's just pointless anyway. Because the next time you hit the head, it's trashed.
Right. So is that a technique thing then? The people that hit things too hard, or what is that?
I think it's technique. I think it's lack of technique.
Okay.
You see the top
Buttface's brother here, by the way.
You see the top guys who play night after night after night. Your super metal drummers, your Portnoys, and the top guys. Okay, they're changing heads probably every other gig, if not every gig. Probably not every gig because that would be silly. But you never see dents in their heads. You don't see those guys with tear heads on gigs. Very, very, very rarely. I mean, they're hitting it hard. They are slamming it. But your body can't take that. If you think, the thing about if you crash your car, if you're doing 100 miles an hour, it's not the impact that kills you. It's your organs within your body hitting your body that kills you, isn't it? It's
What's this got to do with the drum kit?
I'm trying to get there. I don't really know. I've kind of lost the track.
I sort of I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. It's the air inside the drum is just going.
It can only go so far. And you do end up just wrecking the heads, wrecking the sound. Don't get me wrong. You can't just tippy tap them. They don't sound right that way.
Right.
I don't think they sound right that way. You got to give it a certain amount of welly to make it speak, allow it to sound like the drum it's supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
But a good drummer and a good drum kit will sound good. But however, a good drummer and a bad drum kit will still sound good.
Yes, I hear what you're saying there. Bruce says 5 guitars to gig, solid body, acoustic, 12-string, semi-hollow, and Strat tune to E flat. Interesting. 5 guitars to a gig. Jeez. Ah, Charlie. Cheers, mate. Charlie's put $2 in the pot. Cheers, Charlie. That's really nice of you. It's really nice when someone does that. We really appreciate it. Not that we expect it.
I actually get together at some point. We are at some point. Let's tell you where we are here in the UK. I suspect some of you guys are also going through what we are. We're in lockdown 2.0. Lockdown the sequel. I can't do that thing because obviously I've got the Britney mic on. So
you've not got your button.
Oh yeah,
actually, a little low button.
Hang on,
push the low button.
I might have turned it. No, it's delays. Can you just do it for me? Can you do lock down the sequel? Lock down the sequel. No, you can't.
That sounds a bit pervy, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? So we are locked down here in the UK until 2nd of December.
Yep, something like that.
That's currently the current thinking from the great and the good at Westminster. At that point, hopefully, Paul and I will be getting together again to get wildly drunk. No, to make some more content and do some more stuff together and stuff. But we're all being told to stay at home and wash our face and dry our hands and stuff.
Yeah,
it's all a bit rubbish.
Cheers, Charlie. It's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Clifton says, "Cheers, boys. Chuffed to find you. Thanks for everything. Now back to work. Please, Paul, more on the cleans. Let me know what amp is your thing. I'm trying to remember, Clifton. I think you are interested in the Spark.
Spark is good.
Isn't it good, isn't it?
Spark is very good. I like. Interestingly, actually, I'm going to do the show and tell thing now. So just hold the fort a second because I need to wander over here. Hang on. I found something the other day in my pile of stuff that I need to speak to the beautiful people at Positive Grid about. A little while ago, those fine people did a deal. Do you remember by Positive Grid Bias? They did an app, didn't they, for iPad?
Yeah, but the Bias. Oh, for the iPad?
For iPhone and iPad. They did an iPad version.
Was that the Bias? Was it Bias app?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
And there was a Kickstarter stroke thing to get yourself one of these.
Oh, look at that.
Bluetooth foot switch with 4 pedals on. I can turn it on and it sort of lights up nicely and does what pedals and things are supposed to do. How sexy is that?
Nice.
It's got an expression pedal input as well, which is quite nice.
Awesome.
And for some reason, I bought it. I think it was about $199 on a Kickstarter, and I've never ever used it.
you got roasted then. $199 for that.
I think it was about that. But I mean, this thing's weighty. I mean, it's nicely built. It's steel and it's all very nice and it do some serious damage with it if you try hard enough.
Right.
I want to find out if I can get this to talk to the Spark.
That would be a brilliant idea.
Very cool, wouldn't it?
That would be a really good.
If you can get the Positive Grid BT4 Bluetooth MIDI.
Have you even tried it? Have you tried hooking it up?
I only found this yesterday in the back of the cupboard.
Did you? I love it when that happens.
It's been a couple of years since I had it, but I think if this will talk to that, that's a very cool thing.
Yeah, definitely. That would definitely change things. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun with that. Actually.
Yes,
especially with an expression pedal, if you can get that to work.
But I thought that's cool.
Yeah, no, that's really good. They broke in half. I think his drumstick's broken. Jeez,
yes,
he must be smacking it. He's naturally heavy-handed, huge guy, a powerlifter. So everything was a Hulk smash.
Hulk smash.
Awesome. Bruce Book, same thing with the picking. Attack gets better until you pick too hard. So true.
Yeah, absolutely. And your favorite guitar hero Crush says that as well.
Does he?
He does.
Man Crush. Yeah, he's a man. Yeah, I think that's more of a technique thing, isn't it? That's like turning the amp up and then using
giving yourself some dynamic range.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And then when you do dig in, it means something.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas I have to say, I'm very much Gary Moore all the way.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, definitely. A bit Gary Moore. Norm Music. We had to. we had a guy sitting on drums for 2 songs at a gig one time. He hit so hard that our guy had to replace all his heads. Oh God, that must be.
It's not good. It's why on gigs I had, other than about 2 people who I knew were drummers, I had a blanket rule. No one plays my.
Yeah. Oh, don't you just love it? Just like pissed people at gigs.
I play drums. Not these ones you don't, mate.
Yeah, but even just getting up and start just like making an idiot of themselves on the stage. Just what are you doing?
I have one guy. We were out doing the obligatory starting the buffet, and I could hear bash crash, and I just went in and turned all the DJ music off and went off. And he went, "You sport my day," and I went, "I don't care."
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Very loudly. The bride came up to me and apologized. It was her brother, apparently. He should have known better.
Yeah, he woke up in the morning going, "Oh, it's wrong." Resonance is a happy medium. It sure is. Tommy Kajula says, Paul, I remember you have both of these units. What's your opinion? Presonus Quantum versus UAD Rack Apollos if used in Studio One as a DAW? Really good question, actually. Both really good. The Quantum does sound good. Presonus, I think, is known for more. Would you say Presonus is a budget brand, James?
I think that used to be the case. I'm not sure it's so much
a high-end brand, though, is it? It's not Antelope. It's not.
Well, it's not Burl or any of the. I'm trying to think, who's making the Avid boxes these days?
DAD.
DAD. It's not that high, but likewise, I would say sonically. Let's put this in 2 categories. Sonically, these days, between Antelope, UAD, Presonus, Lynx, anyone else you can think of in that sort of realm?
Focusrite? No.
Focusrite. Maybe the red stuff. The Focusrite red stuff is.
Yeah. Focusrite.
I would say there is very, very little between them. Realistically, they're all using the same A to DD conversion chips. They're all using the same chip sets. There's very little in it. Yeah. I think where Antelope and UA score higher than everybody else is their build quality.
Yeah.
And with Antelope and UA, you're getting the additional DSP and, in an Antelope's case, the FPGA as well. So it swings and roundabouts. You get the extra processing and stuff. But build quality, the Persona stuff is good. Don't get me wrong. I had one of the 8. Was it something HD? Was there an HD one which was just
192? Was there a
192? Yeah, 192. That's the one with just D subs for using alongside.
And it looked like a single racked Digi 192, didn't it? That was the one. Yeah,
it was perfectly serviceable, really good, sounded great. But as we've tested before, I think there is something to be said for doing kind of comparisons. It's very difficult to do a comparison between an interface because normally you have to shut down, switch everything over, and by that time you've lost any kind of recognition of what the differences were. But when we swapped between the UA Apollo X's and the Antelopes at your place, I really heard a difference.
Yeah, there was a difference, wasn't there?
I would say it was a kind of difference between if you're making, I'm going to call it smoky music, kind of jazz or sort of 70s rock or rock stuff, I would go probably UA. If I was doing something that I wanted an absolutely flat clinical response, like modern pop or orchestral or anything where I wanted a level playing field, I would go Antelope.
See, that's funny because I think, like when, and I will get around to answering your question in a second. Do you remember? Because I used to have a oh god, I can't remember the name of it now. High-end converter, owned by. I think it's owned by his wife actually.
Oh, Apogee.
Apogee.
Yeah,
I used to have the top end.
Yeah, they're owned by Bob Clearmountain's wife, Betty.
I said the top end Apogee unit. I can't remember what it's called. Was that called the Synergy?
Apogee. What's it called?
Nice, really nice unit, wasn't it?
Symphony.
Symphony. Well done. I used to have a Symphony, and that used to have like a high end little. I can't explain it. It was the sound of Apogees. All Apogees sort of sound the same. They've got like this sort of sheen on the top. Some people love it. Some people hate it. I think the Antelope is like that. It's got that nice high end sort of polish on the top.
Yeah.
But in terms of the Quantum and the UA, I would go for UA.
Yeah.
Because it is, they're built like tanks. They sound amazing. The DSP in it is fantastic.
And if you think that DSP has been around a long time now, and they're still supporting it.
Yeah.
And they're still updating it and still bringing out new units with it on board. So it ain't going anywhere in a hurry.
Yeah, and you won't if you buy an Apollo, you won't regret it. I promise.
No, definitely not.
Where did we get to? The base plan knew him. Base plan knew. Where did we get to?
Oh, the base plan.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Clifton says yes. Cat and Spark and Cat Mark, the Katana Mark II and Frenzel 40 and Conrad and Deluxe Reverb. I don't know what a Frenzel 40 is. I haven't tried that. Conrad and Deluxe Reverbs and Basslands. Wow, you got some stuff. So
nice.
Yes, you like clean stuff generically. Yes, no problem, mate. I'll get that sorted. Yes. I tend to like Clifton. I tend to like guitar if it's a clean tone on the verge of breakup, but so
you like it just to cut a little bit of distortion if you dig in, don't you?
Yeah. That's what I was like. Yeah. Buttface says, piss people and other bands putting their pints on top of my guitar. Oh yeah.
If only they knew. If only they knew the power that the juice that was going through a valve amp. If it got wet, you are fried. You are, you're toast. You're the point of earth.
That's what do people like? And the classic thing is to have like your bass bin, the PA subs, and people just leave their drinks. And
then you see their drinks doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially nowadays where everyone's got active PA, it's like putting it on the amp. We actually got DJs use them for lighting towers. It looks like a piece of silk, and we made it.
Yes.
So it looked like a triangle off the. So we had the sub and then a pole, then the top, and we got this piece of silk, this stand cover thing, and just did that so people couldn't put
That's a really good idea.
Their drinks on the subs.
That or pigeon spikes.
I had one bloke at a gig, and I was DJing, and I kid you not, I had a pair, my QSC rig I've got.
Yeah,
I had a pair of QSC subs and tops. I think I had 4 tops round. I'll be there. And sorry, I couldn't help myself. And I saw this guy drunk take a bottle of Budweiser and go to Jemmy on the corner of my speaker. I turned the music off and I swore at him so loudly.
Wow.
Actually, I stopped. I said, "What are you doing?" Left, the 3 claw marks you get from a bottle.
Did he do it? Did he actually do it?
Yeah, yes, he did it. I went absolutely ape at him, and he looked at me and went, "Oh, I didn't know you were watching." I was like that makes a difference.
What a knob.
Yes. Anyhow, sorry.
Norm's put $4.99. Cheers, Norm.
Thank you, Norm. Thank you,
for the Katana videos. Cheers, Norm. That's really nice of you. Thank you very much. Again, it's not, we don't expect it. We're not doing it. Well, we are doing it for the money, but
we're not really, are we?
Not really. We don't get any money out of this.
We're doing it for the gratitude.
Yeah, cheers, mate. That's very nice of you. Thank you very much. So
what's been going on in your world this last week? Since
I've been doing.
We had Darby on last week.
He was a nice bloke, wasn't he?
I love Darby.
Nice bloke. What have I been doing?
We're doing well for guests. We'll get someone else on some point. I'll have a raid through my little black book of interesting people.
We should get we keep getting requests for Jack to come back.
Yeah, we'll get Duxbury back.
Duxbury, are you listening? Because he's normally driving home at this point, and he's he normally live listens.
Yeah, come on next week, and we'll put the musical world to rights again. That's always worth a giggle.
That was fun, Jack. What have I been doing? I've been doing lots of videos on So Universal Audio released their API summing.
Nice.
Yeah, which is nice. So that's been on the works for ages.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had a video made for some time, but we weren't allowed to release the video until the release date. So did that. That was nice. And lots of GT.
Enough. Would you say it's enough of a difference between the API and the Neve summing?
I prefer the Neve.
Yeah.
I prefer the Neve. The Neve definitely got more. You can just do more with it, and it just sounds. It's just, like when you switch it on, especially when you change the impedance, it's massive. It's like a massive difference. I think with the API, it's not quite as immediate. It is. I mean, it sounds different. It sounds. It's like if I honestly think if you played me both back, would I know the difference? If I'm being honest, probably not. Huh?
Be a tough one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but that's not to say. I think it's I think I really like the way the drums sounded through it. That sounded different than the Neve.
Mm-hmm.
They sounded really snappy and punchy and aggressive.
I do like API drums, though. I have to admit.
Oh, do you? You might like it. Yeah.
I do like API consoles for drums, or API preamps generally for drums.
Yeah, I tend to like a lot of songs that have been mixed through an API console.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that sort of Americana-y sort of stuff, and yeah, it does sound great, doesn't it?
And then we were working on a project that we can't talk about because it doesn't broadcast until Sunday, but we'll share it next week. I think it would be fun. The Studio Rats down to 2.
Down to 2. Oh yes, you did everything more or less, apart from the guitars.
Yeah, and you mixed it.
Yeah,
it was fun.
That's fun.
But we'll play it next week. We can't talk about it too much, which of course means we are now. But we'll share it next week once it's broadcast on Sunday, unless anybody is into a particular sport that I'm something to do with and joins us on Sunday afternoon for the first ever broadcast of the Cyber Series. But hey, you're going to have to ask.
A sport?
It's an Olympic sport.
Is it really?
It's an Olympic. It was supposed to be an Olympic. Right. Let's just back up a little bit.
Okay.
One of the other things that I do to make a living is I am the technical manager for a cheerleading company. Now, most guys at this point go, "Whoa, cheerleaders!" And for about 25 minutes per competition, there is a certain amount of that because some of the young ladies who are all over age of consent are really rather attractive. But most of the time it's kids, and it's not like that at all. But we are in these times of lockdown and pandemic, we are forbidden from holding large competitions with multiple thousands of people. So we're doing the first one online, and Paul and I have I did the intro music, the opening music for it, and we've done the closing credit music and video, which is a cover. But hey, we're not averse to playing other people's tunes as long as we do it well, and we'll share it with you next week.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed
Unless you have any siblings or family members who are competing in the Future Cheer Cyber Series this weekend, and if you are, I'm the one holding it all together. So wish me luck.
Best of luck. Safey says we also need a full Studio Rat show on dissection of Paul's guitar sound and signal chain. Sounds so full and production ready. Oh, cheers, Safey. That
could be a live stream all on its own, I think.
If people would find that interesting, I would definitely do that. Would you?
The other getting back to Synergy as well, which we kind of circling back. The one thing I like about it is because it's such a versatile amp, and it has got things like an effects loop and stuff. I think I'm going to actually eventually plumb in my effects, my pedal board into it permanently, so I'll have it ready to go. So I can actually have, I'll split all the inputty stuff. So I'll have all the kind of distortion-y preamp pedals in the front end, and then I'll have in the loop, I'll have my flashback and my John Petrucci Dreamscape pedal and a few other noisy things I've got.
4 cable method, in other words.
Yes, the 4 cable method.
Nice.
Yeah,
that'd be nice. The only thing that I'd miss with that sort of thing is because I'm such a sucker for stereo delays and stereo reverbs. That's the only thing that I would miss using effects loops like that. There's a way you can do it. If you get a Boss tube amp expander, you can then do that.
Can you not do it with the aux?
No.
The aux not have a loop?
No, it hasn't got a loop, which is a shame, isn't it? It would be amazing if it
would
did.
be an amazing thing if it had a loop, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the tube amp expander, to give a shout out to Boss, is a fantastic.
Not that we do enough for them already.
Yeah, Boss.
Yes,
no, they're great. They make great products, don't they? So
yeah, they do, and always have done actually. If you think back to what was your first distortion pedal or your first overdrive pedal, was probably a Boss, wasn't it?
It probably was, and I can remember the smell of it. Isn't that a weird thing? Do you remember the old sort of 90s? Like you open the packet and
you open the box, and the snake went.
Oh yeah, and it was a HM2 heavy metal pedal.
Oh, do you know what? My first distortion was a DOD hard rock distortion, and I remember having to take it apart about 90 times because the DOD stuff had a micro switch rather than an actual step-on clunk pedal, and I remember the micro switch was rubbish.
They are rubbish. Yeah, they're proper rubbish. Santhal Piera, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Katana question. I've seen people pair pedals with the Katana, mostly front end stuff, overdrives. Would one be able to use inbuilt Katana effects with a reverb pedal without messing the chain? Can I just say, first of all, if English isn't your first language, what a perfect example of perfectly written English.
Yes. I think that's worthy of one of those.
Absolutely brilliant.
Maybe not a full one.
So you're basically asking, would you be able to use the inbuilt effects with the reverb pedal? Yes, you definitely can. If you run it in the effects loop, if you've got a Katana, I don't think the 50 has an effects loop.
No, I don't think it does. I think it's only the hundreds, Mark 1 and Mark 2. That
I think and the artist
that have a loop.
So
and basic rule of thumb, and please stop me if I'm wrong at this point. Anything drivey or distortion-y in front of the amp input, so guitar into overdrive, stroke distortion, stroke booster pedal into the front end of the amp. Anything delay line, be it chorus, flange, phase, reverb, delay in the loop.
Yeah, unless you want a specific sort of sound. But in contrary to that, there as far as I know, the Dumble circuit has a drive post preamp.
Ooh,
that's what makes the Dumble sound.
And is that's a bit like the non master volume amps, isn't it? Because they rely so heavily on driving the master volume at full tilt, hence driving the power section at full tilt, which is why non-master volume amps A, sound amazing, but B, take your head off.
That's interesting. I'd never thought of it like that. I'm trying to think if I've got any.
I don't think you've got any.
All of my amps are master volumes.
Yeah, they've all got a master volume.
What sort of amps don't have a master volume?
The Chandler doesn't, for a start. The Chandler doesn't have a master volume.
Right.
It's got an input volume and various tone shaping and bias shaping on the valves, but it doesn't have a master volume.
I've heard of people. So do you remember we did that interview with Bruce Dickinson?
Yep.
And Bruce Dickinson said that he's got a JCM 800 non-master volume.
Non-master volume.
And I've been looking for one since, but haven't been able to find one.
Yeah, they're as rare as metaphorical hen's teeth.
Oh, I have to try that.
But that's why that Chandler sounds so amazing, because it's driving when you get it to, that's why it needs to be 19 watts. Because when you drive it hard, you're driving the power amp section hard as well as the preamp section. Whereas, for example, the Dumble, it's where that old thing, buy a small valve amp and drive it hard comes from.
Right.
Because you want to drive the power amp section as hard as you do the preamp section. Preamps where the tone comes from, or preamps where the tone comes from. Power amps where the color comes from. In my opinion, that's a good way of putting it.
Oh, interesting. So Santhal, hopefully that answers your question. If you've got a Katana 100 and it's got an effects loop, yes, you can do that. You've got to change around the effects order. It's one of the first things in Tone Studio. I don't know if I can load it up and show. I don't know if I can do it with the offline mode. Let's see if I can do it in there. Hey, I can. You can do that. You can do that. Right. Okay, James, can you
I will do as soon as you share.
Okay, hold on. Let me get back. How do I okay, got it. Yeah. Understood.
It's that
Share
button mark.
screen.
Share screen. It should then appear.
Screen. That one there. Share. Right, go
Right.
to there.
There we go.
Okay. So if you've got a Katana 100 or upwards from there, actually, am I talking rubbish? You can definitely change where there we go. Post amp preamp. Now here we go. So if you go to your send and return, you've got post amp or post reverb. So depending on where you put it there, it either comes your pedal would either be there or after the reverb. So if you're using any effects you want to use after the reverb, you want to use post reverb and everything else post amp.
Yes. That'll be that.
That'll be that.
Sweet.
Anything else? Norm says hundreds of gigs in the 90s with my trusty old Super Boss Overdrive. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I need to get some more Boss pedals.
They actually floated, didn't they? Boss pedals would float in beer quite happily.
In beer?
Yeah, as in they were gig proof, weren't they?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
The thing about a guitarist's pedal board, it's like the monitor speaker. It's the first thing the plebs are going to stand on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's normally a lot of function gigs, you don't have the luxury of a stage. You're on the same level, often on the dance floor, trying to claim some sort of space for the band.
Yeah.
So the monitors, which people normally fall over, and the guitarist pedal board are the first thing that are the first line of defense. So you need pedals that are going to survive, and those Boss pedals will float in beer quite happily.
Yeah.
They'll last forever. There's not much in them.
so well built.
It really upset me when I bought that fuzz face, the Hendrix edition fuzz face, for a job I did a little while ago. Bought a pedal for one job. It's brilliant, but it's got about 4 components in it. So what I'm actually going to do, and there are 4 different, I think there are 3 different fuzz face editions. There's the Hendrix, the Bonamassa, and the Eric Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to build the circuits for all 3 and put an extra knob on my fuzz face so I can then flick between the 3 circuits.
Awesome. That'd be amazing.
Because there's so much, it's such a ridiculously huge thing on your pedal board to do one sound. It's a great sound, but yeah, it seems a bit silly. So I want to put all 3 circuits in one unit.
Aman Segal. Hello there. Thanks for the tip. You are my Katana doctor. Good vibes. And good vibes back. Cheers, Aman. Nice one. Much appreciated. Any other questions? We're coming up to time, but if there's any more questions, we'll
hang around.
So doing baby duty, doesn't it?
Nowhere else to go. Oh, mine are asleep, fortunately.
Are they?
Yeah, mine are asleep, out cold. The brandy in their water bottles really helps.
Definitely, mate. Best way to deal with it.
Cool. Well, pretty much on the hour. I'll take my ball and go home.
If there's any ideas for videos that you guys would like to see, please let us know.
Absolutely. And any gear you want us to have a look at, any ideas or anything you think we can get hold of with our little black books inside the music industry, let us know. I've got a few things that I want to say. We had a whole list of stuff planned for me to come over to yours with, but that hasn't happened for one reason or other.
Yeah.
But, hopefully that'll happen soon. We'll get some toys that haven't seen the light of day in a while.
Yeah. Cheers, Phil. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we've got lots of there's lots of ideas, lots of videos where we need both of us to be about to make them, don't we? So
yes.
yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, everyone, stay safe. Take care wherever you are in the world. We should at some point probably mention the efforts of last weekend and congratulate the Americans for seeing sense.
Or don't get political. There might be people that don't. I would never give my political views. I'm not saying I don't agree with James, but I'm not saying I do agree with James. So.
But anyway, we will see you next Wednesday. Well, we might have a guest. We don't know. We'll let you know. We'll put a trailer out on Facebook and YouTube and stuff, and we will we'll do that. But for now, it's good night from me.
Good night from me.
And we will see you next week. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.